Hello from Camino Island. It's Nana reading Blueberries for Sal. This book was a favorite of mine when I was a little girl. It was published in 1948. I was born in 54, and I think my mother liked it because it had her name in it, Blueberries for Sal. And it reminded her of what it was like growing up on Orcas Island, because they would go out and pick blackberries. But this is Blueberries for Sal. And I also picked blueberries when I was I think 13 years old. I worked for a summer at Ellwanger's Blueberry Farm in Bellevue. Oh my gosh, that's another story. Anyway, here we go. One day, little Sal went with her mother to Blueberry Hill to pick blueberries. Little Sal brought along her small tin pail, and her mother brought her large tin pail to put berries in. "We will take our berries home and can them," said her mother. "Then we will have food for winter." This is an old-fashioned idea. Canning is what people used to do in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, where they would heat food up that they collected and store it in jars for the winter. It's before the big box stores like Target and Walmart and QFC. Little Sal picked 3 berries and dropped them in her tin pail. Kerplunk, kerplunk, kerplunk. She picked 3 more berries and ate them. Then she picked more berries and dropped one in a pail. Kerplunk, and then she ate the rest. Then little Sal ate all 4 blueberries out of her pail. And so, like most kids, eating is the best part of picking. Her mother walked slowly through the bushes, picking blueberries as she went, putting them in her pail. Little Sal struggled along behind, picking blueberries and eating every single one. There they go up the hill. Little Sal hurried ahead and dropped a blueberry in her mother's pail. It didn't sound kerplunk because the bottom of the pail was already covered with blueberries. She reached down inside to get her blueberry back, though she didn't really mean to. She pulled out a large handful because there were so many berries right close up to the one she put in. You know how that can happen. Her mother stopped picking and said, "Now, Sal, you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to take her berries home and can them for next winter." Her mother went back to picking, but little Sal, because her feet were tired of standing and walking, sat down in the middle of a large clump of bushes and ate blueberries. That walking sound is Grandpa walking through the kitchen. He's going to be really quiet, but he's hungry. On the other side of Blueberry Hill, Little Bear came with his mother to eat blueberries. "Little Bear," she said, "eat lots of berries and grow big and fat. We must store food for the long winter to come." So even bears know how to get ready for winter. And so does Grandpa. He knows how to get ready for winter too. Little Bear followed behind his mother as she walked slowly through the bushes eating berries. Little Bear stopped now and then. Grandpa goes to Costco, yeah. Then Little Bear had to hustle to catch up with Mom because she was intent on gathering food. Because his feet were tired of hustling, he picked up a large clump of bushes and sat down right in the middle and ate blueberries. You know, sometimes it's just important to eat. Over on the other side of the hill, little Sal ate all the blueberries she could reach while she was sitting, and then she started to look for her mother. Which I always found this is odd in this book, that the mom just wanders off. Like, what about little Sal? Little Sal heard a noise from behind a rock and thought, that's my mom for sure. That's mine. And she looks behind the rock. And what is it? It's crows. Caw, caw, caw. And the bird stopped eating and flew away. Then she heard another noise in the bushes and thought, that surely is my mother, and I will go that way. But it was Little Bear's mother instead. She was trampling along, eating berries, thinking about storing up food for winter, and little Sal, not afraid, just tromped right behind. Crazy little kid. By the time Little Bear had eaten all the berries he could reach without moving from his clump of bushes, he hustled off to catch up with his mother. He hunted and hunted, but his mother was nowhere to be seen. He heard a noise from her over at the stump and thought, that must be my mom walking along. But hey, here's another. The bear mother's not paying attention to her child either. I think these bear parents are thinking and mom parents are thinking about other things. What do you think? But it wasn't his mom. It was partridges. Can you see the partridges in the picture? And they quit eating berries and hurried away. Then he heard noises in the bushes and thought, this is surely my mother. I will hustle that way. But it was little Sal's mother instead. She was walking along picking berries and thinking about canning them for next winter. Little Bear hustled right along behind. Little Bear and Little Sal's mother and Little Sal and Little Bear's mother, they were all mixed up with each other among the blueberries of Blueberry Hill. See little Sal there walking along. And there's Mom with the baby bear. Ooh. Little Bear's mother heard Sal walking behind and thought it was Little Bear. And she said, Little Bear, eat all you can possibly hold. And little Sal said nothing. She picked 3 berries and dropped them. Kerplunk, 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 right into her pail. Little Bear's mother turned around to see what on earth could make that noise like kerplunk. Grrrr. She cried, choking on a mouthful of berries. This is not my child. Where is Little Bear? And she took one good look. She backed slowly away. She was old enough to be shy of people, even a very small person like little Sal. Then she turned around and walked away as fast as she could. Little Sal's mother heard Little Bear tramping along behind her and thought it was little Sal. She kept right on picking and thinking about canning berries for next winter. Moms can be very preoccupied sometimes. That Little Bear is right behind her. Little Bear padded up and peeked into her pail. Of course, he only wanted to taste a few of what was inside, but there were so many and they were so close together. Then he tasted a tremendous mouthful by mistake. Now, Sal, said Little Mother without turning around, you run along and pick your own berries. Mother wants to can these for next winter. Little Bear tasted another tremendous mouthful and almost spilled the entire pail of blueberries. Little Sal's mother turned around and gasped, Mom, it's here now, little Sal. Where is my child? And she also thought, where there's a little bear, there's got to be a big bear, and this is not good. Little Bear just sat munching and swallowing and licking his lips. Little Sal's mother slowly backed away, She was old enough to be shy of bears, even very little small bears. Then she turned and walked away very quickly to look for Sal. She hadn't gone far before she heard kerplunk, 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 and she knew just what made that kind of noise. Little Bear's mother had not hunted very long before she heard a rustling sound that stopped just now, and then to munch and swallow, and she knew what made that kind of noise. Oh, there's Mama Bear. There's Baby Bear. Little Bear and his mother went home down one side of Blueberry Hill, eating blueberries all the way, and full of food stored up for next winter. And little Sal and her mother went down on the other side of Blueberry Hill, picking berries all the way, and drove home with food to can for next winter. A whole pail of blueberries and 3 more beside. See if you can see Mama Bear and Baby Bear going down one side of the hill. And Mom and little Sal going down toward the car. What kind of car is that? I'm not sure. And this is a picture of what their kitchen looked like. Getting the food all hot on the stove. It's called canning, where you heat jars of food inside the big pot. Here's little Sal getting the I think it's called a washer that you put on top of the lids before you heat them up. And what's interesting that you need to know is that my mother grew up with a stove like this. It's called a wood stove. You heat it with wood. And it takes a lot of work to keep that stove going while you're trying to boil jars with food to can them for the winter. And that is the end of our story. Snorri, are you sleeping yet? I love you guys. Have a great evening. Snuggle tight. Love each other. Good night.